Sarah Heather. This is Now This, and today I'm in Pakistan to dive deep into one of the world's most underreported stories, the persecution and target killings of Shia Muslims. We'll speak with locals who can tell us what life for Pakistani Shias looks like today.
We don't even feel that we can live and breathe freely in this country.
We have not been saved here.
And we'll bring in some experts who can help us understand what led Pakistan to such a peak of sectarian violence.
The state of Pakistan has failed to defend the Shia Muslims.
The consequence is that they get away with murder.
Islam isn't a monolith. Like any other religion, there are different sects. A majority of the world's Muslims are Sunni, with another 15 to 20% being Shia, and the remainder a variety of other Islamic minorities. One distinction is that Shia Muslims are characterized by a belief that the long line of prophets, ending in Muhammad and Muhammad's family, are divine messengers of God, while Sunnis believe only the prophets were. The two are a lot more alike than they are different. In Pakistan, Shia Muslims make up around 20% of the population. In 2017, 95% of sectarian violence worldwide was focused only on Shia Muslims. Pakistan is one of the countries most affected by violent religious extremism on the planet. Sadly, anti-Shia hate groups are prominent in Pakistani society. Their leaders publicly call for violence against the Shia minority, with little to no repercussions from the government.
इतना मजबूत कर दूंगा कि इंशाअल्लाह अज़ीज़ कोई सुन्नी शिया से हाथ मिलाने को भी तैयार नहीं होगा और वो अपनी मौत खुद मरेंगे। अब हमें मारने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी।
I spoke to Asad Gokul and Raza Askari, Shia Muslims who have both lost family members to anti-Shia hate crimes, to learn about what life in Pakistan feels like for them. I want to know from you, do you feel safe?
Well, how can one feel safe when as soon as he steps out of his home, he sees it written, Shia kafir hai, inko marne se jannat milti hai, written on every single street, that Shias are infidels, you kill them and you enter into paradise.
Do you feel safe where you live in Pakistan right now?
No. I have this locket because we don't have the ability to move. But we just pray to God.
How do you feel about living there now?
Who want to leave his motherland? No one want to.
I spoke to them in a series of Skype conversations. I was also able to speak to Asad face-to-face in Pakistan.
Very unsafe, we feel unsafe, and I feel like law enforcement agencies should really, step up and make the area that is safe for us to live.
So this barricade, what's it for?
This barricade is for the safety of Islam Barga.
Yeah.
So,
but someone can walk right past it.
Yeah. So the irony is that as a community already being targeted and persecuted, we ourselves have to step up. We ourselves have to make.
You have to protect yourself.
Yeah. Although it's the basic right we should have from the government.
Reza's family was holding a Shia gathering at their home during the holy month of Muharram when masked gunmen drove up on a motorcycle, killing his father and several others. And Asad's uncle was shot in a targeted incident as he left the ice factory he owned to head home.
This is a picture of my uncle with all his 3 sons visiting a shrine. At the time of his death, they were of age 9, 11 and 12 just.
The first, they killed my father. Then the rest of them, my cousins, were sitting on the chair. They start firing on them. When I came and I just saw his body, these are the things I never forget.
The bravest person I've ever known had died. I couldn't believe that how can he die? The thought of him not being anymore around just killed all of us from inside.
Pakistan is the 6th most populous country in the world, and it was founded as an independent homeland for Muslims after its partition from post-colonial India. Its founder was Muhammad Ali Jinnah, a Shia Muslim himself, who believed the country should be inclusive of various faiths. Even the first prime minister was a Sunni, the first law minister a Hindu, and the first foreign minister an Ahmadi Muslim. But in recent years, systemic faith-based violence has reached unprecedented levels.
It's not Shia versus Sunni, okay? There's a small Sunni Deobandi militancy group that is attacking Shia. But what allows them and what do not stops them from attacking Shia is the majority of Sunni people silent on this issue.
Let's break down how Pakistan went from an interfaith society to a hub for sectarian violence. We sat down with Professor Hassan Abbas, a US-based academic whose research focuses on national security in Pakistan and the Middle East.
Shias are targeted minority. Every time a Shia Muslim, they organize an event at their home which is of religious in nature, they are targeted. If you have a Shia sounding name outside on a nameplate and on your home, you are an important person who's doing something about pluralism or about human rights issues, you are a target just because of your name and your identity.
Is there any particular events that you think led to the trajectory that we're at now?
Very clearly in 1980s and 1990s, some of the prominent Shia Muslims were targeted. And by and large, the state and the Pakistani intelligentsia and the mainstream politicians, they stayed quiet. The Shia community could see that they are being targeted, but they were not listened to. Then there was a Saudi inflow, and it happened in a transformative fashion, and all of a sudden Pakistan witnessed these religious political leaders becoming rich overnight. They have the best of the SUVs, they had their own guards. Somebody, the Pakistani military, the intelligence, the law enforcement should have probed how come it is the religious clerics who have become so rich all of a sudden. What business they are involved in which is so profitable. No one else is thriving, they are thriving. I think that was the most damaging and problematic change of the religious cleric becoming a politician, becoming a businessman, become a person of influence. That transformation was the most deadly in Pakistan, I think.
Several anti-Shia militant groups have been banned by the Pakistani government, but the same individuals return as a new group. Their new name allows them to run for public office and hold rallies in the street.
They know these are the same people that just changed their name. They've done nothing else.
One such group is Ahl Sunnat wal Jamaat, which promotes anti-Shia hate and violence. ASWJ is believed to be the political front for the deadly militant group Lashkar-e-Jhangvi. ASWJ denies any connection between the two.
Human Rights Watch has been advocating for accountability for these groups and the violence they perpetuate for years. This expert explained why it's so rare for the attackers to face real consequences.
There's no real mystery about who's carrying out these attacks. The people who are victims, their family members, even members of the law enforcement community and government say that they know who's carrying out these attacks. It's the Lashkar-Jhangvi. Lashkar has long been in collusion with Pakistan security agencies. The consequence is that they get away with murder. When they are arrested, they magically escape from prison. They operate openly, even though some of them are on the most wanted list.
I don't think the situation is getting any better in Pakistan for Shia Muslims, and not only Shia Muslims. It's the same for Ahmadis, it's the same for Hindus, it's the same for everyone, for every minority in Pakistan.
Anti-Shia hate grew in the 1980s when Saudi Arabia began to have increasing influence in Pakistan.
The United States and Saudi Arabia made a military aid deal with Pakistan. Saudi Arabia had Pakistan agree to establish tens of thousands of religious schools throughout Pakistan. A small percentage of them taught fundamentalist doctrine to poor children who had no other option for an education. These extreme teachings sometimes contributed to the worsening hostile environment for Shias.
Each madrasa is producing an expert of their own sect whose art is to prove that everyone else is a non-Muslim. Everyone else doesn't have any clue about Islam. I am the real representative of Islam. So that's what the modern madrasa is doing. But it's about hardly 5 to 7%, according to experts, madrasas, which are directly linked with producing not only extremists, but kind of extremists who preach violence, who preach hatred, and who preach sectarianism.
Researchers report claims of up to tens of thousands of Pakistani Shias killed. One database documents number of killings from 1963 to 2015 and reaches a total of more than 23,000. However, these findings were found by mainstream media. So let's talk about why these numbers are so unreliable. Pakistan's media tends not to explicitly report on Shia killings. Media outlets who do cover the killings for years have typically neglected to identify the victims as Shia. As a result, researchers have struggled to nail down the numbers of how bad this could really be.
Professor Abbas explained why the actual number of killings is likely far greater than the 23,000 that have been reported.
Part of this was out of fear. Part of this was out of political manipulation, but many, I'm not defending all media, but I'm saying for some of them, if they start saying, talking about the identity of the killed, it then feeds into extremism. This is exactly what Al-Qaeda wants. Al-Qaeda, Taliban, ISIS wants more sectarianism. That's why it has become very, very complicated. But I'll certainly say that the state of Pakistan has failed to defend the Shia Muslims. They have failed to defend the Christians of Pakistan. They have failed to defend and secure and protect other Muslim minorities as well.
The Shia response to these attacks have been relatively restrained, according to one study, despite several Shia retaliatory strikes against local extremist groups.
While the Pakistani government has condemned some of the individual incidents, they have not broadly recognized or acted to stop the pattern of persecution against the Shia minority. We reached out to multiple branches of the Pakistani government for interviews, but received no official comment.
While the situation appears dire, activists and allies are rising up to defend Pakistan's minorities.
Protest against the killing of your Shia brethren as you will protest against the killing of your own brother, your own family, your own tribe, your own clan, your own society. Do not consider Shias separate from yourself.
So what do you think is at stake with the oppression of Shias in Pakistan?
I think the very idea of Pakistan is at stake. Pakistan, like we often say in the American sense, the idea of America is about the American ideals of liberty, freedom, equality. In the same sense, the idea of Pakistan was of a pluralist nation. Its flag, it's green, and there's one huge strip which is white. The green stands for the majority, the Muslims. The white strip is representing the non-Muslim minorities, Christians, Hindus, everyone else. The modern day Pakistan is defying its own idea of pluralism and equality and democracy. And it was supposed to be a sanctuary for Muslims. When the Muslims have started killing each other, that sanctuary is no more.
We're not going to leave this country. This is our country. Our forefathers have given their blood for this country. We are going to stay here. We are going to keep raising our voice against these terrorists. We are going to keep spreading interfaith harmony as much as we can.
With newly elected Prime Minister Imran Khan inspiring renewed hopes for progressive Pakistan, it's yet to be seen if this vision includes the safety and acceptance of Shia Muslims.